Hi, welcome back to the workshop. Today we're going to be talking about the Cheadle Gate. We're going to be assembling a Cheadle Gate and we're going to be putting it between these two posts. I've mounted the posts in my workshop to the wall just so it's easy for me to demonstrate to you guys. So first of all, what we're going to be talking about is what you get. So first, if we can look at the framework, I've unpacked this just to make it easy, but all this comes in one box. So what you've got is you've got the hinge side profile, you have the lock side profile, we've got what we call a rebate or a slam. This is what the gate closes against, and you've got two of those, and then we've got the top trim. So all that comes in a box. This comes in varying height, so what we're doing here today is the 1.8, the 6 foot gate, but we also have 1.5 and 1.2 meter high gates. We also have a small 900mm gate as well. So that's the framework. Then you've got your fixings. So basically you get one box, all the fixings, they're all labelled up. So this is fixing for receiver, fixing for rebate. We've got some little dampers here. Inside here we've got the hinge plate. So I'm going to get all that out, but all that comes inside one box. And then the final box is the tie rods. The tie rods are basically what we adjust to create the width of the gate. This particular set comes so that you can adjust it from 1.1 meters to I think around about 500mm is the narrowest it will go. If you want to extend that over 1.1 meters, then we just supply you an extra rod, and that allows you to then extend up to slightly above 1.5 meters. Okay, so that is what comes in the kits. Then what we need to look at is the tools that you need to do this. So obviously this is not including the fitting of the posts, but once the posts are up into position, then this is the type of equipment that you need. First of all, in terms of battery operated drill, I'd rather you use this. We're going to be using this for putting all the self-drilling screws into position. Don't use impact drivers. Self-drilling screws do not like impact drivers. You'll snap them, cause all sorts of problems. We need a circular saw. We're going to be cutting the boards to length afterwards. So the Cheadle panel boards or the composite boards that you get, they will come in a standard length, and then you need to cut them down. We need some drill bits. We're going to be doing a little bit of metal drilling, especially when we fit the handle. It's very small. My suggestion, and it's just my recommendation, I always get this particular brand. The Milwaukee, I got it from Screwfix. Don't mess around with cheap drills. They are just not worth it. They're not expensive, and a good set of drills, they last a long time and get the job done really quickly. Set of mole grips, adjustable spanner. We're going to be using them for the tie rods. Most toolboxes have that. We need an Allen key for the gates when we're assembling the gates together. Then we've got some driver bits. This is a number 25 Torx. That's for most of the screws that we use is that. I'd rather use the Torx bits because you don't get any slipping. The quality of screws we use are excellent, but getting the right torque bit is important. So number 25, and then we've got a square drive. This is a number 2 square drive bit as well, so you need one of those. If you have any issues at all, give MODE a call. They can send them to you as well. Another tool that's really handy to use when we're leveling up the gate as well. These I got off Amazon. Basically under the gate, and they allow you to rise the gate, holding it into position. Just makes life a lot easier when you're fitting the gate into position. Don't need it. You can put a block of timber underneath it. You can hold it into position, but these just make life a lot easier. And obviously I used a level before just to level up the gate post when I set them into position. Last of all, good tape measure. We need to measure between these posts now and get started. Okay, so with each gate, we've got a set of instructions, clearly tell you how to do this. Once you've done one, you don't really need it again. You'll find it very, very simple. But the first job we've got, the instruction tells us, is we've got to measure between these posts and then adjust these tie rods to the correct size. So that's my first job. And I've got a measurement of 840. I'd suggest you measure this in 3 places just to see if you've got any angle, and you're obviously going to have to pick the smallest size. So if you've got a little bit of taper, then it's important to take that into consideration. So that's 840, 840 and 840. So I know these are parallel because I've already set them into position. So the instructions tell us to subtract 40 millimeters from that size, and that is what we're going to adjust the tie rods. So my first job is going to take all the tie rods out of this pack, and we're going to set this into position. Quick tip, basically, very easy. Drop this on the table, take your tape measure, roughly measure out where 840 is going to be. That's about there. And then it's a quick guess. What I do then is just flick these roughly into position. So that was about there. Screw that into the tie rod. Now, I've done this a few times, so I've made myself a simple tool. Basically, it allows me to wind this into position very quickly. Saves a lot of time messing around when you're adjusting that. This is the time-consuming bit of assembling this gate. You need just a bit of time to do it, but it's important you get this right, and the rest of the gate's easy. It's nice and square. You don't need to be messing around. So we're aiming obviously for 800 millimeters. Bang on. Right, so once you've got that, then with the mold grips, what we're going to do is just hold this really while we are tightening this lock nut up. You want to make sure this is nice and tight. The last thing you want is this coming undone when it's inside the gate and you are tightening these things up. That's nice and tight. Okay, so that's one of them done. What I need to do the other 4 like that, exactly the same, get them all in terms of the same size, and then we can start assembling the tie rods to the gate. Right, okay, so now we've assembled all of the tie rods. What we're going to do is assemble this into the hinge side profile first of all. It's important that you do it in that first of all. Simple reason is, once we put the panels on, we need to then get ready to cut out for the lock hole. So we're going to put the lock hole panel over the top, mark out the position, take it off and cut it out. So always put the tie rods into the hinge position as well. You can see in terms of this profile, the top of this is where the hole for the tie rod is closer to the top. That depicts, it says this in the instructions, but that's important when we're building the cheadle panels in. We start putting the cheadle panels in from the bottom. So my first job now is to fasten these tie rods into position. So inside the fixings, what we've got is a set of screws. These are M12mm countersunk socket screws, and these are what we use to fit the tie rods into position. So just cleared a bit of space on the table. This will allow me to put the tie rods on. Normally I would do this, I do it on the floor. It's just that for the sake of videoing and showing you guys how I'm going to do it, obviously height is important so you can see clearly. So this is the M12 bolt. We're just going to put that through in terms of the tie rod. It doesn't matter about order in terms of what order you put these on. But again, what's important is just making sure these are nice and tight. Obviously it's a good strong M12 bolt. So, you know, don't be frightened of making them nice and tight. Like I said, don't really want to get these coming loose. That's the first one done. You'll probably start, once these adjusted, you spend a bit of time putting the tie rods and getting them the right size, but you'll see the gate come together really quickly once you start to put these tie rods in. So that was all the tie rods into position now. What we're going to do is we're going to slide the Cheadle panels onto this. What I'm going to try and do is to best show you how I do this. What I have done, I've already cut the Cheadle panels to size just to save a bit of time. You don't want to see me cutting all these down, but it's quite simple. They cut really easily. What I'm going to do now is show you how they go together. So what I'm going to attempt to try and do is, first of all, for the sake of the camera and the video, just so it's clear, I'm going to hold this into position, and you can see that's basically how it slides over, right? And then what we're going to do is build that up towards the last one. These panels are 300mm. So obviously as you get a multiple of 300mm, then a 1.8 gate actually would not give you any gap at the bottom of the gate. So what we've done is this frame is slightly smaller. This allows the gate, a gap at the bottom of the gate, which you need obviously to open it. And a lot of people, it's sort of 20mm gap. Sometimes if there's flags there or you a slight tape, you need a little bit more. So what we do, we have to trim the last board just to be able to create that gap and to maintain a 6-foot high fence. So top tip, basically, in terms of the tie rod, which hole it goes in, 1, 2, 3, 4. Everyone's the same. Just find the 4th hole. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're up to the last one. So basically we are going to have to trim the top of this board. So basically when it comes to this one here now, again, in the 4th hole, slide it in and you'll be able to see the top of the board here where we need to cut. So all we need to do is a little mark on there, and that will tell us the board. So this is how much we're going to have to trim off the top all the way down here. Okay, so now basically we've got the panels in there. What we're going to do is we're going to be putting the lock side profile on, marking out for the keyhole and cutting the boards for the keyhole. Then we can put the lock side back on and bolt it all up. Okay, so I've got the lock side now, and we're just going to slide this over So once that's on, then into the keyhole position here, I need to mark this for where the lock's going to go through. So just Sharpie pen, black marker, mark out. When we cut out this hole in the panel, we don't need to worry about being too accurate because this plate is big enough to cover that keyhole. So cut it out, don't leave it tight, because once you've bolted all this together, if you've not cleared out all the composite material inside and you've got to start clearing out more, it's a bit of a trouble. It can be done, but what you want to do is try and avoid that. So once I've marked the position out, remove the panel again, and now what we need to do is cut out for this position. What I use, a cone drill, hole saw, anything really. It's very easy to drill this. Just remembering that we want to make sure we clean out as much as possible. What I do use is I have a round reamer. Basically, with the composites, it's quite good, but any last minute sort of straightening up and things like that, just find it a lot easier to use the reamer. Right, so once the lock hole's cut out, then we can place the lock profile back on the gate. And then using the M12 countersunk bolts, basically we're going to bolt up this side now. Right, so basically what we're doing now is just 4 bolts here. Once this is locked up, then that's the gate complete, and we are ready for building the hinges and hanging the gate. So this is done. What I want to do is basically, before I tighten up the final bolts now, is just tip it upside down, make sure all the panels are down to the bottom, because I've been building it up on the table. Then we're ready to put the hinges on. So now basically we've got the gate into position now. What I'm going to do is just clear a space here quickly, and then we can get on to putting the gate on. Before I do that though, I just want to show you the hinges and how the hinges come. One of the good things about the Cheadle Gate is the adjustability of it. So you've seen how we can control the width and build the width up. But in terms of the hinges also, compared to sort of many gates out there, the hinges are conventional gate eyes. So these are adjustable gate eyes. So basically what you've got is lots of adjustment, very simple. So once the gate's up, we can move this gate into position quite easily. So you've got the hinge pin and the washer, and I need to quickly assemble these, and then we can get on to fitting the gate. Okay, so assembling the hinge, very simple. Basically we've got these 2 plates. What we need to do, first of all, put the hinge pin through, the gate eye over the top. Then you've got this stainless steel washer. Put that at the bottom. Put the split pin in. And bend 1 tab over in terms of the split pin. Suggest only bend 1 tab. And the simple reason is that once you've bent both over, if you ever need to take it off, it's just a bit difficult. So I suggest just bend 1 over. Once 1 over, there's no way that's coming out. That's 1 done. Okay, so once that's assembled there together, then this is the hinge plate. This is the mounting plate to mount it onto the gate. Just remove the bolts, that's it. And that's the hinges ready to go. So what I'm going to do now, going to get this bench out of the way so we can see the gate clearly, and then I'm going to put the hinges on the gate, and then I'm going to show you how I fit the gate. Okay, so basically now what we're doing is assembling the hinges onto here. So you'll notice the gate has got 1, 2, 3 positions. For a single gate you only need 2 of them, so you get 2 hinges. If you go into a double gate, and we're extending this up to 1.5 or slightly over 1.5 meters, then we put a 3rd hinge on for extra support. But on this situation, all the screws are already in, so the first job is to take out these bolts. This size of Allen key is the same size when we tighten the tie rods into position as it is for putting the hinges on. So we're putting on this. The way these hinges work, obviously they are non-handed, so, and the gate's not handed at all, so it just makes it easier. And that's it. That's as simple as that. Make sure these are nice and tight. All these bolts are stainless steel, so they're going to last a long time. They're all good size M12 bolts as well, so you can make sure that they're nice and tight. And the gate is designed to be strong, robust, and last an awful long time. Just going to do the bottom one in the same way. Just a quick look, you can see in terms of the size of bolts that we're using. So there's nothing weak, everything's built for strength. So that's all the hinges on, and you can see in terms of the adjustability here, very, very simple to adjust the gate. Before we took off 40 millimeters, so that gives us a nice gap all the way around, and that allows lots of flexibility for adjusting. Okay, so now we've got the gate all built. The next job is we need to put onto here the rebate strips. Okay, so basically we need to put these onto each side of the gate. They're attached with self-drilling screws into there, so we need to position them. Now the instructions clearly tell you that from the distance at the back of here to the front face of here is 60 millimeters, right? So my suggestion is basically now is we measure a distance from the back to here, put a little pencil line on the back of this post here, line this up, and then with the self-drilling screws we're going to attach that. Okay, so basically fitting the rebate or gate slam. So I've checked in terms of the height and how high I want it. I've measured the gate, and then I worked out roughly where I wanted the gate, and I want this rebate at the same height. So I've marked that position in terms of the height. What I need to do now is just on the side, I measure 60 millimeters from the front face here, back, on there, and I'm marking a little line on the inside of here, right? That means that that face, the back face, is going to line up against that line. And when I've done that, obviously I have a wall here, so it's a little bit more tricky, but what I'm going to try and do is use the quick release clamps, line that up against that face, make sure we're at the top, and get that into position. And it's the same all the way down. So, got the fixings clearly marked up, fixings for rebate. They are the Torx 25 self-drilling screws, and we're using that to do all the way down on both sides. Again, don't use impact drivers on any of these screws. Their tendency with the vibration, because these are hardened screws, they will crack and break. Okay, that's it. That's all the slants into position. Nice and strong, plenty of screws in there, ready for us to hang the gate. Okay, so we're now ready. Same screw, exactly the same screw as we used for the rebate before, using my Torx 25 bits, but they're in the pack separately. The benefit of them being inside the pack separately is just that you know you've got everything. You can see our hinge screws, rebate screws. Even though it's the same screw, we do separate it out. So what I'm going to do basically now is secure these hinges into position. So when you put in this, just grip to make sure that is nice and tight. Obviously, for the sake of the video, I'm going to try and do this single-handed. Once you've got one screw in, life becomes a lot easier. Right, so that's in. Before you put the next one in, just make sure that plate's nice and square and straight. In the hinge, you'll see some elongated holes. Put it in the elongated holes first. Only when you're happy that everything's in the right place, you put it into the single round hole. That locks it in place, means it can't move. So now I am happy with that position. Then into the round hole. So that's the top one done. Don't need to worry about the gate now at the moment. Now we can always just adjust this into position afterwards, right? What we need to make sure is pretty much in terms of the distance of the hinge from the edge, is you get the other hinge looking exactly the same position. Okay, that's it. Gate is hung. Just a little bit of adjustment in terms of the hinge positions. We'll do that now. But that's it. Ready for the lock and the handle to be fitted. Okay, so as I said before, we've done lots of videos about the locks, and the link will be there. I'm just going to fit this. So we are putting the lock through the gate. And the importance is basically on this gate frame here that we get it nice and square. Inside here we've got the fixings for the lock. Now these fixings that come in for the gate kit are specific for fixing to metal frames. Inside the lock box that it comes with will be fixings for the timber gates. Obviously you're not going to use them, and you switch over to the ones that come with the gate. These fixings use a square drive, and as I said before, it's a number 2 square drive for these. So that's the lock fitted. All we need to do now is fit the receiver. So inside the receiver there is a pack of screws. Okay, so lock's fitted. We're going to be fitting the receiver onto the frame here now. Inside the pack there is a pack of fixings for the receiver, and these fixings use the we're back to the Torx 25 screw driver. So that's it. Gate is nice and secure now. What is left on this side is basically to fit the escutcheon over the top of the cylinder. So we're going to pull the gate round and fix the escutcheon now into position. So this is the escutcheon plate, slides over the cylinder, and again with the Torx screws. So that is the lock into position. Final job now. Not every customer is requesting it, but some customers require some sort of handle on the gate. Obviously, you know, it's very easy to open and close the gate, and obviously you're pushing on the other side. But if it's a request, then there is a round handle. I'm going to show you how that's fitted now. So basically, when we fitted these handles, what's important is the position. Obviously over here, on the other side, you're going to bang your knuckles when you're closing the door. What we want is it over to this position, following this arc. Right, so this is 80 millimeters in diameter. So I am going to measure down here, create a center mark here. So just a quick check in terms of that size there, 80 millimeters. So 40 down from there, 40 across here, straight through the gate. Right, so that's my position. So small size drill first, then we'll open it out bigger later on. Right, once you are through, then it's important, you need to make sure this is kept horizontal and straight. We want the other hole, the other side to line up. So now we're going for the right size drill, just to open it up. So I'm going to insert it now, and then push it straight through. Then the handle on the other side. So that's it. So basically what we've got, nice ergonomic design handle, works really well, but most importantly is that on the other side, that handle is not near the rebate. What we don't want is any fingers being pulled and catching on the rebate, so it's quite far away. Now for the grand finale. Grand finale is our top trim, showing the MODE brand, and that's the gate fitted. Okay, if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, give us a like, and send us your comments. Look forward to your comments.